Well, the University of Miami is one of the latest colleges to reinstate mandatory standardized testing. You know, actually having to pass a test to get placed in college. That standardized test score policy is set to be put back in place for any students applying during the 2026 undergraduate admissions cycle. Miami's website says the school will revert back to previous standards for admissions, seeing that the university previously paused those test score policy as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. Didn't make sense, though. Now did it? University of Florida requires standardized testing, but allows the students to take a classic learning test instead of the SAT. Joining me now to discuss is a campus reform reporter and student at the University of Florida, Emily Sturge. Emily, nice to see you again.
Great to be back.
You know, a lot of these universities during COVID just took anybody. You didn't have to pass any test. Just anybody who wanted to show up, as long as you had one really important thing, money. Which makes me think maybe it wasn't really about an education at all. Am I wrong?
No, you're right. And Meritocracy is back. The University of Miami is among the list of colleges that are reinstating standardized testing requirements that, get this, reward students based on their merit, on their score, on their individual achievement, rather than DEI-based admissions practices that reward students based on their race or ethnicity, gender, or even sexual orientation. Seems like common sense to me and you, but this is part of the national rejection that we're seeing of the last 4 years, the national rejection of lowered standards and woke ideology, and a return to common sense.
Yeah, return to common sense. Look, how else would you place students if you have no idea their proficiency in math or science or the ability to, write and comprehend? I don't know how you would do it without an SAT or ACT or both. College placement tests have been the way it's been done for decades, really. But this is a return to normalization, so I tip my hat to Miami. Other schools are going to follow suit, I would think, wouldn't you?
I do think so. And let's think of, how did this policy start? It's a COVID-era policy. It started out of an abundance of caution for health and safety, and it very quickly snowballed. It went down this slippery slope right toward lowered standards and declining academic ability. Merit was replaced with DEI. At the Leadership Institute's campus reform, we reported how during this time when standardized testing practices were being taken away, universities like Brown University shifted their focus to minority representation in admissions. The University of California system did away, lowered standards for their math requirements in the name of equity, which of course is the code word for DEI. So after 4-5 years of these lowered standards, it's very refreshing to see this trend of universities reinstating merit-based practices that reward students based on their achievements rather than their skin color.
All right. Greatly appreciate that, Emily. Thank you for bringing us up to speed. I think that we're on the right track, and I hope we're on the road back. Thank you for spending time with us here today.
I hope so, too. Thank you so much for having me.